844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. A couple of weeks ago, Josh Mandel, he's the former Secretary of State in Ohio. He was coming on down. He was here at Newsmax at the studios, and I met him, and I said, yeah, it'd be great to have you on. He's running for the Senate. As you know, Senator Rob Portman is not running for re-election, so there's an open seat. And maybe you know Jim Jordan more than you know Josh Mandel, but Jim Jordan is not running for the seat, and Josh Mandel is. And so what happened to all of us, or is going to happen to all of us eventually, happened to Josh Mandel this weekend. He was thrown off of Twitter. So we wanted to have him on the show to just to check in with him, and you could introduce you to him, and let Josh explain what happened to him. Josh, you're in good company though, aren't you, with the President of the United States and so many other people?
I take pride in getting kicked off Facebook this weekend.
Oh, Facebook! You know, I'm sorry, not Twitter. Facebook.
Well, no. You're actually not confused though, Howie. I got kicked off Twitter a few weeks ago, so I've been kicked off both.
Oh man! So what happened with Facebook this weekend?
So yeah, we posted on there and asked the question of Facebook: why did they delete the profile of the cop killer, the Capitol cop killer, who was a member of a Nation of Islam? And for having the audacity of asking a question of Facebook, they booted us. And you know, this is cancel culture at its worst. This is silencing of conservatives at its worst. And the reality is, Facebook censors voices they don't agree with, and that's the bottom line.
When your guy sent this to me, that this had happened to you, I thought to myself that on Saturday, I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and I looked for the story just to see the same thing you were looking for. Did they mention Nation of Islam? No, they didn't. So I was walking along the street, and I ran in my building, actually, and I ran into one of the guys who works there, and he said, "I just been reading the Palm Beach Post." And I said, yeah. And he said, and guess what? They didn't mention Nation of Islam. So, you know, you and I and the guy at the building, Gene, we're not the only three people in the country who noticed this on Saturday, are we?
We're not. Listen, there's a silent majority out there who realizes what's going on. But here's the thing that's scary. When I got kicked off Facebook, I reached out to a buddy of mine who was in the Marine Corps. You know, I was a Marine as well. He's a great guy, and he works there. And I basically said, hey, this is BS. They're trying to silence conservatives, and this just isn't right. Okay. And to his credit, he looked into it, and they came back and they said, oh, this was a enforcement error. And here's the reality.
They always say that, don't they? They always say that.
But Howie, listen, it always ends up being quote unquote enforcement errors when it's conservative. It's pretty suspicious that all the enforcement errors happen against conservatives. And listen, look, I appreciated him being responsive. He's a really good guy. Appreciated him getting us reinstated on there and everything. But here's the reality. Gene, who's in your building, or Joe, who gave me a cup of coffee this morning, or Sally, who's a waitress in Dayton, Ohio, or Dave, who's a truck driver in Youngstown, Ohio, if they get kicked off, they're done. They're totally muffled and silenced. And you know, I feel like I represent the conservatives out there, Joe and Jane six-pack conservative and Trump supporter, who've been censored, but they don't have a voice to take action on this big tech. So I feel like I'm representing them and fighting for them, taking on these big tech monopolies. And I posted online, I said, is this big tech or is this becoming big communism? Because listen, this is America. Like you don't get censored for asking a question in America. You get censored for asking a question in North Korea. You get censored for asking a question in China, or maybe they put you in a concentration camp, you know, because you know what they're doing to their people there, or maybe in Saudi Arabia, they chop you up. But here in America, we're allowed to ask questions. And the reality is these these big tech companies, they're so arrogant and they're so condescending on the middle of America, and they're just wrong. And it's why we got to repeal Section 230, and it's why we need fighters in the U.S. Senate like me who are going to take them on.
You know, I mean, you're fighting for it too, and the New York Post, they got stories every day. You know, they killed us on Hunter Biden. They wouldn't print our stories. They have to apologize. All this stuff. That's the fourth biggest paper in the country. It's owned by a billionaire, Rupert Murdoch, but they're like struggling too. I mean, they can't get any more relief than the average person can. I mean, so Dorsey, the head of Twitter, goes to that congressional committee, and they ask him, "Why did you censor a totally legitimate story on Hunter Biden's laptop?" And again, he says it's the old, "Oh, we made a mistake. It was an error." And then the follow-up question, which they asked, "Who made the error?" And then Omerta kicks in. You know, they got more silence than the mafia used to have. No one will out anybody else.
Well, it's interesting you call it the mafia. Sometimes I call it big tech thugs. You know that they. But here's the reality about the left. You know, the Democratic Party. You know, the pillars of the Democratic Party used to be the unions and the pro-abortion groups and the wacky environmentalists. It used to be sort of like a three-legged stool, but now it's like a five-legged stool, because on top of that, you got big tech and you got the mainstream media as well. And so, you know, if the left and their big tech buddies in Silicon Valley, if they can't control you, then what they do, Howie, is they attack you. You know, they falsely call you a bigot or a Nazi or a liar or a racist or this or that. And every time they falsely call someone a bigot or a racist or a Nazi, what they're doing is, and I don't know if they realize it or not, but they're actually diminishing the impact when you actually have real racists out there or real neo-Nazis or real bigots. Like, listen, we as Americans should all come together to take on bigotry and racism and neo-Nazis and all that garbage where there's no place for them in America. But what happens is it becomes more difficult to take on those real bigots when these big tech people on the left are attacking conservatives just for standing up for conservative thought and using those horrible terms that are not descriptive at all for those of us who believe in the Trump America First agenda and the Constitution.
We're talking to Josh Mandel, the former Secretary of State in Ohio. When I mentioned you were going to be on today, somebody from Ohio wanted to know, what is Ohio doing about making sure that there are no problems with future elections?
Yeah, election integrity is one of my top issues. We're starting this forum in Ohio where today we announced our first, we're calling them Faith and Freedom Undergrounds, where we're having these get-togethers to talk about election integrity and a lot of other, important issues. And it's going to be one of my top priorities as a United States Senator. To answer your listener's question, unfortunately, our governor here, DeWine, he's a total establishment squish. And he's afraid of the media, and he's afraid of taking on this election integrity issue. Unlike DeSantis in Florida, who I think is fantastic, DeWine here is a total wimp, and he's just mushy. He's not a leader. He's the opposite of DeSantis. And so, whoever your listener is in Ohio, let them know you got people like me who are making this a top issue because DeWine won't.
Is DeWine running for re-election?
This guy's running for re-election. Howie, don't get me started on DeWine. Let me tell you something. This guy took the big hand of government and jammed all these mom and pop businesses with the COVID shutdowns. And I'll tell you what and I've been taking him on head on. Here's what he did. He shuts down the mom and pop restaurants. He shuts down the small businesses, hardware store, clothing store, barber shop, beauty shop. But guess who he let stay open? Walmart,
McDonald's,
woke capital,
right?
Target, woke, Costco, woke. All these like woke corporations, they get to stay open, but the small businesses get screwed. And I've been trying to stand up for the small businesses and the mom and pops here, and like the family-owned restaurants, and saying this isn't right. Like this just isn't right. You got DeWine picking winners and losers in the marketplace, and then he's picking the big bad guys. These guys who are trying to advocate for boys playing girls sports and, boys being in girls locker rooms and all this crazy stuff that not even most Democrats agree with. And so, yeah, I've been taking on DeWine pretty hard, because at the end of the day, these shutdowns, Howie, it's about liberty. And like, if you're for liberty, individual liberty, the liberty of families, the liberty of small business owners, then you're against the big-handed government shutting them all down. And that's what DeSantis did. But if you don't cherish and treasure liberty, then you don't care about these small businesses and mom and pops. And that's what DeWine did. He just doesn't have an appreciation for liberty.
So who are you running against? It's an open seat. Portman's retiring. You told me Jordan's not interested in running. He wants to be the Speaker of the House. Who are you running against?
So there's only one. We only have one opponent running against me so far. She's the former state party chairman, and she's running like the establishment campaign. You know, we had one of the congressmen of the 10 congressmen who voted for impeaching Trump. One of them's from Ohio, from the Cleveland area, and my opponent in the Senate race, she actually defended his impeachment vote. She called it rational, said he's an effective legislator. And, you know, every time she opens her mouth, she makes it more clear that she's from the establishment and I'm from the anti-establishment, you know, wing of the conservative movement. And I'm not going to Washington to drain the swamp. I'm going to Washington to blow up the swamp. And personally, when I look at these open Senate seats in Missouri and Ohio, where I am, and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and Alabama, what an incredible opportunity we have, Howie, to reshape the Republican Party and reshape it with younger, tech-savvy, constitutional conservatives who will take on big tech, who will take on the left, and who are fighters. You know, I'm a Marine Corps vet. I did a couple tours in Iraq, and I can tell you this: no Republican leader in Washington is going to push me around. I've been through tougher stuff than that, and I'm going there to really take on the system and take it on in a big way.
So if people want to see your campaign site, where would they go, Josh Mandel?
Yeah, so it's joshmandel.com. It's JoshMandel.com. And if they want to get involved or support the cause, they can go to our website. Our campaign is really a movement. It's a movement of constitutional conservatives and Trump warriors from all over the state of Ohio and frankly, all over the country. We've got patriots all over America who are going on our website and giving $5 here, $10 there, $25 there. And every little bit helps because the Democrats, they're going to drop a nuclear bomb on my head. They're attacking me every day. They got so much money, George Soros and Obama and Eric Holder money all over the place. They're coming at me every day. And listen, as a supporter of mine told me yesterday on the big tech stuff, and it applies to the left as well, the more they attack me, the more that I know I'm hovering right over the target. Because when we take on these big tech companies and we take on the left the way I'm doing it, and they come after me, we just crank up the volume because we know we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. George Soros just gave $500 million to Bard College in New York. That's where the Steely Dan guys went. I'm not listening to Steely Dan anymore, at least not for a while. Josh Mandel, thanks for being with us, the former Secretary of State for the Buckeye State of Ohio. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for your service. You know what I miss? A real true break, not a running away from your life break where you go hide in the bathroom or throw your phone in the drawer or endless downtime. I mean a break that feels earned, a shortcut that you give yourself that makes your life truly easier without sacrificing the end result. That's my experience with HelloFresh. HelloFresh lets me skip the grocery store, the crowds, the Karens, the Kyles, whatever you want to call them, the people that tell you that you're going the wrong way down the one-way aisle, that tell you to wear your mask, to tell you to social distancing. Not to mention the annoying cart with the broken wheel. You're not good quality products from the grocery store if you go with HelloFresh. This isn't takeout or some space food you microwave for 10 minutes. These are whole restaurant quality meals made with fresh pre-portioned ingredients, right down to the seasonings. I got some, they even have little ketchup packets in with the cheeseburgers I had last night, really. So you don't need to buy anything other than HelloFresh, and it all is delivered right to your doorstep, and you can prepare it in as little as 20 minutes. I had those cheeseburgers. They were fantastic. Soon I'm going to be having the chicken cutlets. Everything that HelloFresh has is really, really top notch.
What was so special about the cheeseburgers that you had?
It was just high quality meat, and I mean it was just good. And the rolls. They had rolls, and Taylor, they weren't regular rolls; they were potato rolls. Yeah,
Ooh,
you know,
very good.
potato rolls are better. They just taste better, and that's what they have. They have always the highest quality stuff.
You had like Old Bay seasoned fries or something?
Yes, Old Bay seasoned fries and the cheeseburgers, and then the potato rolls. That's just a small indication of the kind of quality that they have, and the prepared ketchup. Not that I eat the ketchup, but I mean, again, I didn't have to worry about going out and getting a bottle of ketchup or anything.
I really
like
like that when you cook with HelloFresh, the meal always ends up looking like the picture that is depicted.
Right.
Whenever I try out a recipe on my own, it never ends up looking like what it's supposed to.
No,
But with HelloFresh, it does.
It's just it's a top-notch dining experience. HelloFresh sends all the ingredients right to your door, as I said, delivers them contact-free. You also get easy-to-follow recipe cards with pictures at every stop, and they also throw in something extra every time. They threw in just a little bottle of water, but it was high-quality bottle of water. With more than 25 chef-created recipes to pick from each week, you'll never run out of meals to try. And something else you can feel good about, HelloFresh is 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store with none of the headaches. Go to HelloFresh.com/Howie12 and use code Howie12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's code Howie12 at HelloFresh.com/Howie12 for 12 free meals. HelloFresh.com/Howie12, code Howie12. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr will return after this brief commercial break.